Good day, everybody. This is Marcel Pertut, the Sports Inquirer, and we're joined by Gene Hill, head coach of Georgia State women's basketball. Gene, thanks for joining us. And how was the offseason overall for the program, just on and off of the court?
Appreciate being on. Always great to talk with you. First of all, it was good. I mean, it was a good summer, and that the players were able to get home and spend some time with their families and friends. But at the same time, we still was able to have more a traditional off season than we did the previous summer. So it was a good summer. No major injuries or anything and stuff. So that's always good. And we was able to kind of really focus on getting stronger and preparing mentally and physically for the season.
Yeah, this time last year, the logistics were very different for everything going on and off of the court. With the pandemic still in effect, honestly, but not to the severe. I don't want to say that's not severity, but it's a different circumstances this
Yeah.
year in
Yeah.
2021. How is the team handling this year, and kind of what are the differences from now as opposed to last season?
Well, I think after going through it for a year, just being able to kind of know a little bit more what to expect. I mean, last summer was a summer where no one had a manual or a playbook to tell you what to do, how to handle this, and no one knew what was next. So definitely in a much better situation this summer and this year, just going into the season. We realized that obviously the pandemic is still going on, but just the fact that knowing how to deal with it better and everything and stuff mentally and physically, keeping yourself safe. So definitely a big difference. I think being able to spend some time with each other and not have the isolation that we had to go through last year has definitely helped everyone mentally and just being able to get back to some sense of normal.
Yeah, and I've spoken with other coaches and even some players, and going through the pandemic at this stage last year, a lot was made of just their mental state and being able to be together. How big is that for you as a team, being able to even just beyond the on the court stuff, which we'll get to in a moment, but being able to meet in the same rooms? I'm
Yeah.
sure in the summertime when they're taking classes, you're able to have open gyms to some degree. How big is that for just the unit being together more often?
It was huge. I mean, I think as great as the invention and the convenience Zoom has become to all of us, I think we was a little zoomed out, and was ready for some personal connection and some contact and interaction. So it's definitely been great to be able to, be around each other again, to be in the same room, and whether that's meeting or practicing and just doing things and stuff as a group versus having to be isolated so much and everything. We still talk about, doing all the safety protocols and making sure that we take care of ourselves and knowing where we're, who we're around and things like that. But still, just to be able to have some personal interaction is huge.
Let's go onto the court. Last season finished with a winning record, second in the Eastern Division. What do you take from last season and those experiences, and try to carry it over into this new campaign?
Well, last year, obviously, we felt like uh, at going into the season, we talked about, we wanted to have success, but how that success was going to be defined was not necessarily about wins and losses. So we was definitely happy to have a winning season and finish second in the division, but we felt like we really just we won with how we had to rally around each other and how we dealt with everything last year with all the ups and downs and everything. So I think that's something that we can maybe take into this year, and knowing that success and the process is not a steady line always. It's unpredictable, and you have to be able to stay positive and control the things that you can control, and stay focused on your main goal, but taking it day by day. And I think that's something that we really learned from last year and had to experience it personally. And so hopefully we can take those lessons and continue to build off of them and bring them on the court and utilize them to have more success.
You do return 10 players from last season's roster, including 4 starters. You have 2 junior guards back in Taniyah Worth and Tehya Lyons. What about those 2 players returning to your backcourt and then some of your other guards that'll be contributors?
Yeah, Taniyah, she's really stepped up so far during the off season and really put in a lot of work. And you've been able to tell the difference so far in her play and practice. She's really shooting the ball well and just really, I think, a lot more confident in her ability and what we expect out of her. So we're really looking forward to having a good season from her. And then Tehya also, obviously last year, spending most of the season in the starting lineup, I think she really figured out, what it takes to play at this level and what it takes to lead a team. And so now we're hoping that she could just now take that to another level and push not only her play, but push the team to another level.
Yeah, and what about some of your other contributors such as Ashley, Kamryn, Taylor? It looks like you returned a good amount of guards in your rotation
Yeah,
overall
we
this
do.
year.
We do. Taylor Henderson is another kid who started some games for us and going into her 3rd year. I think, just really is kind of a glue type player who could do a lot of different things and play multiple positions for us. So really looking forward to her utilizing her experience and helping us with the younger kids, but also, when we talk about competing for Sunbelt Championship. And then you talk about Ashley Foster, again, another experienced player who, just really played a tough role for us last year in that, we asked her to do a lot defensively for us and she sacrifices and is willing to go out there and guard the best player and really set the tone for our defense. And so to be able to have her back and lead that effort is something that, is definitely you need when you're trying to make a run. And then Cam Dziak, again, I always comment to everyone that the thing that about Cam is that she's so steady and just you always know what you're gonna get. It's not she never gets too low and she never gets too high. And so it's a joy to coach her every day because you know what you're gonna get. And she's really worked hard also this off season and she's shooting the ball well. And I think she's just a lot more confident in her ability, even putting the ball on the floor and doing some other things and stuff.
And I look at the front court and I see a top returner in Hannah Sadler. As
Mhm.
far as a junior, she's come back for another season. How has her off season been? And what about some of your other front court players that'll be
Yeah,
contributors?
yeah, Hannah, she really stepped up there at the end of the year and earned a starting role and really just led us defensively in the post, but also had some breakout games offensively. She's another kid who you could just kind of really depend on doing all the little things that matters for you. So really excited about her returning and what she brings to the team. But we feel like we have a lot of depth there. You also have Alexis Bell who started for us at the beginning of the year, and now she returns, and I know she's excited and has worked hard during the off season to have a more consistent and a breakout year for her. And then the third person there, if you talk about Deasia Merritt, Deasia was in kind of a unique situation in that she transferred to us last year and was under the expectation that she would sit out. And then the NCAA passed the rule to grant everyone immediately eligibility, and so that kind of shifted in midstream her thought process and what we was doing for her. So I thought she handled it well, and now just kind of getting her feet wet a little bit last year. I think she's really gonna come out and firing this year.
You mentioned it. That was going to be my next question about the roster makeup with the NCAA rules. How have you handled that? The extra year of eligibility, some red shirts that may not be red shirts anymore? How's the scholarship situation? I know every coach is approaching it differently, but how's your program handled this extra year of eligibility for these players?
Yeah, I was talking the other day. We really don't truly have what people are calling the super senior yet, because we didn't have a lot of seniors last year. We only had one, and she graduated and didn't play because of medical reasons last year. Uh, so for us, we knew that all of the players was returning. Now, some of those players may use that COVID year later, but we knew what we had coming in this year anyway. So for us, it's about how will it impact us in the next couple of recruiting classes. We're still figuring that out. This thing is something that you have to, I think, keep very fluid in that. Some kids who may say that I want to return right now, in a year they may change their opinion and everything, and you just have to be prepared for that. So that's kind of how we're thinking. We're trying to stay in touch in constant conversation with our players about that, and what they want to do and where they see themselves, so that we want them to be able to reach and all their goals individually and personally. But we also want to make sure that we take care of the program, that we don't leave the program where we're expecting someone to return and then all of a sudden we find out that something is different. So we're still beating the bushes, composing the lists and everything, and staying in contact with kids and all those things. But I think you have to also stay in contact and know what's going on with your players.
Sure. And lastly, this is the final year at the GSU Sports Arena. I know there may be some festivities and some other things tied with that, but what's that like being in the final year in that arena? And have you been able to go to the new constructed arena that you'll play in next year? Have you been able to do a tour, and has that helped with recruiting and just promoting the program, and just your thoughts on the arena setup?
Well, first of all, I mean, the sports arena, it's been home for Georgia State basketball, and it's been good to us, and we're going to still maintain our offices over there and kind of turn it into a practice facility. So we're still, kind of partial to it. And although we're excited about the Convocation Center, we know we're still sports arena to be a part of what we're doing also in our growth. As far as have I been able to tour Convocation Center? I have. I had the opportunity twice to go over and tour it, and it's just going to be a really top-notch facility. It's really going to help us recruiting. And yes, it has already helped us recruiting. We've already had kids who inquired about it, and they're excited about the possibility that, this is something that, that they'll be playing in next year. A lot of times when people talk about facilities, I remember when I was being recruited in high school, my college coach mentioned a new facility, and I think they built that new facility 10 years after I graduated. So I think the fact that we can actually, go over there and tour it and point and see and say this is the date, that has helped recruiting, and so we're really excited about the possibility and looking forward to the future of playing over in the Convocation Center. But we want to make sure that we go out with a bang at the sports arena this year.
Yeah, and does that help also with the Metro Atlanta or the state of Georgia that produces so much talent? I look at the GHSA, and had talent going all around the country, as far as the skill level. Has that been a big point for you as well, to the local talent? When I say local, I mean just the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's the arena being a big attraction, and still downtown Atlanta,
Right,
everything
right.
like that.
Well, no question about it. We always want to recruit Georgia hard. That's an emphasis for us. We feel like it's a ton of players in the state, and we have an unbelievable university that the reputation is just growing day by day academically, and then everything that's going on facility-wise. Why not stay home? Why not play in your state and represent your university? And this is just another a notch and another cap or something that we can say, why you should stay here versus them having an excuse, well, you don't play in a nice facility. Well, yes, we do. We play in a brand new 8,000 seat arena that's a state of the art, and it sits right here in a prime location.
Yeah, and you have a few weeks before your first game, and I'm sure we'll speak before that takes place. But how do you handle that? As because it looks like it's a long way away from your first game, but it's still pretty close. How do you keep the team just on a good energy level and focus at
You
this
know,
stage of the year?
right. We've talked about that. We've tried to do some things to make this off season and preseason not seem so long and just the same boring thing that you're doing every day. We talked about October the 15th back when we played. Used to be such an exciting day. You look forward to practice, but now these kids practice and year round now. So October 15th or that first day of practice is not as exciting for them, or they just really don't have anything to look for. So we've tried to do some different things to make it exciting to start and to break up the everyday routine of practicing. But we also tried to make sure that we stay in contact and with their mental health and their physical welfare and what they're doing educationally, so that we don't burn them out too quickly. We want to make sure that we stay on pace and that we're pushing them, but we have to keep in mind that it's a long season and we don't want kids burnt out in October. So we'll give them breaks and make sure that we're doing things to make sure that we're fresh and that we're excited about playing November the 9th at University of Florida.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll speak a few weeks before that Florida game.
Sounds good, man. Always great. Look forward to it.